Look upon your hands, mortal. Do you see them? These instruments of purpose, of creation, of action? Or do they merely rest, slack and idle, beside a task unfinished, a dream deferred, a truth unspoken? Do not avert your gaze, for this is not a gentle philosophical rumination I offer today. This is a summons, a challenge, a desperate plea from one who has stood on the precipice of empire and felt the insidious whisper of delay, the seductive lull of tomorrow. You feel it, don't you? That gnawing unease, that prickle of self-reproach, the shadow of what could be if only you would begin. And begin now, for the enemy I speak of is not a barbarian horde at the gates of Rome, nor a political rival plotting in the Senate. No, this foe is far more insidious, more cunning, more destructive, for it resides within the very fortress of your own mind. It is procrastination. A word, yes, but a word that conceals a universe of missed opportunities, of unfulfilled potential, of lives lived in the perpetual twilight of almost. It is the silent thief of time, the subtle poisoner of ambition, the architect of regret. And make no mistake, my friend, it is stealing your life, breath by agonizing breath. Do not switch away, do not scroll. Do not allow that familiar, comforting paralysis to grip you even now as I speak of its very nature. For if you truly seek mastery, if you genuinely yearn for a life of purpose and profound contentment, then you must confront this beast head on. And the battle, I assure you, begins in this very moment with your unwavering attention. For too long you have listened to its honeyed lies. Later, it whispers, tomorrow is a fresh canvas. You're tired now. Rest. The conditions aren't perfect yet. These are the chains it forges, link by invisible link, binding you to a life of mediocrity. And the irony, the bitter, agonizing irony, is that you are the blacksmith. You wield the hammer. You choose to forge your own prison. I, Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, have governed an empire, commanded legions, and grappled with the vast complexities of human nature. Yet, I confess to you, the greatest struggle was often not against external threats, but against this internal inertia, the same struggle that likely consumes you now. This is not a lecture for the idle curious. This is a life-or-death confrontation with the forces that would diminish your spirit and squander your precious, fleeting existence. Listen closely, for what I shall impart is not merely ancient wisdom, but a battle plan, forged in the crucible of my own struggles, tested by the demands of empire, and refined by the relentless pursuit of virtue. We must first understand our enemy. Procrastination is not a singular entity, but a hydra with many heads, each whispering a different deceit. Perhaps you find yourself perpetually busy, yet accomplishing little of true import. You check messages, reorganize trivial papers, respond to emails that could wait. This is the veil of busyness, a deceptive comfort that allows you to feel productive without engaging with the difficult, meaningful work. It's the illusion of forward momentum while treading water in a stagnant pond. The legions may be sharpening their swords, but if they are merely polishing old boots, no battle will be won. Then there is the perfectionist's trap. You convince yourself the conditions aren't quite right, the tools not precisely honed, the moment not perfectly auspicious. You wait for inspiration to strike like a lightning bolt, for all obstacles to magically vanish. But, my friend, the perfect moment rarely arrives. Life is messy, filled with imperfections. To demand perfection before action is to ensure perpetual inaction. A general does not wait for a cloudless sky and perfectly aligned stars to march. He adapts to the terrain and the weather as they are. And what of the overwhelmed soul? A great task looms before you, vast and daunting like a mountain range. You gaze up, paralyzed by its sheer scale, and so you do nothing. You tell yourself it's too much. You'll never finish, so why even begin? This is a trick of the mind, a failure to divide the mountain into climbable slopes, the great task into manageable steps. Sometimes the root is deeper, a fear of failure, or paradoxically, a fear of success. The fear of failing can make us avoid starting altogether, preserving a false sense of potential. But what if you succeed? What new responsibilities might that bring? What expectations? The comfortable mediocrity of not doing can, for some, feel safer than the daunting prospect of rising to meet their true capabilities. And, of course, the ever-present allure of distraction, the fleeting pleasure of entertainment, the instant gratification of novelty. Your mind, seeking ease, pulls you towards trivialities, away from the demanding path of purpose. It's the siren song of comfort, luring your ship onto the rocks of unfulfilled dreams. Finally, the most insidious lie of all, the illusion of time. Tomorrow, you whisper to yourself, I will begin tomorrow. But tomorrow is a phantom, a promise that forever recedes. The only moment that truly exists, the only moment you have any power over, is now. Your future is forged in the fires of your present actions. To delay is to squander the only true currency you possess. To combat these forms of procrastination, we turn to the very heart of Stoic philosophy, not as dusty texts, but as living, breathing tools for immediate action. First and most potent is memento mori, remember death. This is not a morbid fascination, but a profound and liberating truth. You could leave life right now. This breath, this very moment, could be your last. Does this thought fill you with terror, or does it ignite a desperate urgency to act, to live fully, to fulfill your purpose before your lamp gutters out? Let this awareness fuel your every action. What matters most? What would you regret leaving undone? Then do that thing. Hand in hand with this is amor fati, love your fate. This means not just accepting what is, but embracing it. Embrace the current moment with all its imperfections, its difficulties, its challenges, for it is the only stage upon which you can perform your duty. Do not wait for the perfect conditions. They are already here. This moment, this task, this day, this is your fate. Love it and act within it. Next, we employ the discipline of perception. Our thoughts shape our reality. Procrastination is not some external force possessing you. It is a choice, a habit of mind. Recognize it for what it is. When the urge to delay strikes, observe it. Name it, but do not succumb. Do not allow your interpretation of a task as too hard, too boring, too big to paralyze you. Instead, reframe the task. Focus on the process, the effort, the virtue inherent in engaging with it. It is not things that disturb us, Epictetus taught, but our interpretation of their significance. A difficult task is not a burden. It is an opportunity to practice diligence, patience, and courage. Now, for the discipline of action. This is where the rubber meets the road, where intention transforms into reality. If a task seems overwhelming, like an insurmountable wall, then apply the atom principle. Start small. Break it down again, until you have a task so minuscule, so utterly non-threatening, that the thought of not doing it seems more effort than doing it. A single sentence written, a single email sent, one plank laid. The greatest journey begins with a single step, yes, but often that first step needs to be no larger than a pebble. Then summon the courage for the first step, the cold plunge. There is a peculiar resistance that precedes any significant action. Your mind conjures reasons, doubts, distractions, but once begun, the momentum shifts. Like plunging into icy water, the initial shock is intense, but the invigorating clarity that follows is profound. Don't think, just begin. Place your hand on the pen, open the document, dial the number. The mere act of initiation often shatters the spell of procrastination. Consider your morning rituals. The dawn is not merely the arrival of light, but the arrival of opportunity. Win the morning and you often win the day. Before the world's demands crowd in, before the emails and the urgent cries of others, dedicate the first hour or even half hour to that task which you are most inclined to procrastinate on. Seize the strategic high ground of your day. Remember the virtue of effort. You are not required to succeed, but to try. Your duty is to exert yourself, to apply your reason and your will to the task at hand. The outcome may be beyond your control, but the effort, the diligence, the honest striving, that is entirely within your grasp. Do your duty regardless of your feeling, for feelings are fleeting, but duty is eternal. Focus on what is within your control. You cannot control how others react to your work, or whether the market embraces your creation, or if the gods smile upon your endeavors. But you can control your effort, your focus, your decision to act now. Direct your energy solely to that which is within your sphere of influence. And finally, cultivate the power of habit. Procrastination is a habit, so too can be decisive action. Consciously, deliberately, build habits of productive action. Schedule your difficult tasks, create routines, make it easier for your future self to do the right thing by laying the groundwork today. My own life, though filled with the burdens of empire, was a constant striving to embody these principles. How did I attempt to live this truth? Every morning before the clamor of the court began, I would engage in journaling. Not merely a record of events, but a dialogue with myself. I would reflect on the day ahead, anticipate potential obstacles, including the very urge to procrastinate, and remind myself of my duties and principles. This was my premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. By anticipating the siren call of delay, I could fortify my mind against it. What difficulties might I encounter today? What tasks might I shrink from? How will I respond with virtue? I would constantly ask myself, what is my duty now? Not, what do I feel like doing? Not, what is easy? But what is the most virtuous, necessary action required of me in this present moment? This question cuts through the fog of indecision and clarifies the path. Furthermore, I found immense strength in the concept of service to humanity. When I felt overwhelmed by my own internal struggles, I would remind myself that my actions were not just for me, but for Rome, for my people, for the very fabric of justice and order. This external focus, this larger purpose, often pulled me out of self-absorption and the paralysis of delay. Your own duty may be to your family, your community, your craft, or simply to your own potential. Find that larger purpose and let it propel you forward. And though I was an emperor, I was accountable, not just to the Senate or the legions, but to myself, to the gods, to the very concept of reason. Build your own system of accountability. It could be a simple daily checklist, a promise to a friend, or merely the unwavering gaze of your own conscience. Understand this, my friend. The battle against procrastination is not fought for punishment, but for liberation. Imagine the profound freedom from regret, the peace that settles upon your soul at the end of a day, knowing you have done what needed to be done, that you have not squandered your precious moments, no gnawing self-reproach, no phantom tasks haunting your thoughts. Consider the joy of unleashing your potential, to see your capabilities not merely as theoretical possibilities, but as tangible achievements, to witness the world transform, however subtly, through your own purposeful action. This is the true satisfaction, far beyond any fleeting pleasure. There is an inner tranquility that blossoms when you consistently act with purpose. The anxious energy that fuels procrastination dissipates, replaced by the calm confidence of one who is master of their own time and their own will. This is the true good life, not a life of ease and endless leisure, but a life of purposeful action, diligently pursued. You become the master of your time, the sovereign over your own existence. This is true power. So, go forth, mortal. The sun rises not for your idleness, but for your action. The legions of delay await your resolve. This battle against procrastination is not a one-time charge, but a continuous campaign. There will be days you stumble, days the old whispers return. But remember the tools I have shared. Remember your mortality, your duty, and the profound peace that awaits you on the other side of purposeful action. The time for waiting is over. The time for excuses has passed. Begin now. Take that first small step. Apply the discipline of your perception and the courage of your will. The world awaits your contribution. Your soul awaits your liberation. If this discourse has stirred something within you, if the wisdom of the ancients still echoes with truth in your modern world, then share this message. Let it reach others who wrestle with the silent enemy within. Subscribe to this channel so that this ancient voice may continue to impart strength and guidance to all who seek a life of purpose. Thank you for listening. Go and act.